there are two possibilities. Either the Delhi police didn't try or has been incompetent. Either they didn't want to or they have just been inefficient. They tried to. But are they being pushed to now push this entire probe? Sanjay Pinto is a lawyer, former journalist and columnist. Is joining us from Chennai. Rahul Kochar comes back. He's chairman and managing partner of Kochar and Company. He's a close friend of Sunanda Pushkar. Sanjay Hegde of the Supreme Court is with us. M.R. Venkatesh is a chartered accountant closely following this case. Also with us is Neena Pillai and Aman Sinha of the BJP. So we have 4 lawyers at least out of a panel of 6 today. And I'm sure everyone's watching this very closely. Aman, let me start with you. What do you think of what the Delhi police is doing here? I mean, did the Delhi police not know about all these angles? Now they are questioning this man Sandeep Sharma. Now they are looking at this Sunil Sahab angle. Now you don't know whether there was another angle of another lady who was a source of difference. Did the Delhi police know, for example, Aman Sinha, is there any truth in what Subramaniam Swamy says that Sunanda left the hotel late on the night of 16th, the day before she was killed? I mean, did the Delhi police not know or was it not looking?
No, Arnab, the AIMS medical report dated 29 December concluded that this was a case of death caused due to poisoning, and thereafter police lodged an FIR, initiated investigations, and I'm sure they will look into all possible angles, including the angle that you were alluding to of the IPL. And, it's quite suspicious that many of Sunanda's friends were saying that, she was going to reveal something important about IPL, and that coincided with her death. So I'm sure all possible angles, police will investigate. They have already questioned Mr. Tharoor once, and they will take it further, and let us await the outcome. But
now they are trying to connect some dots. Now they are trying to.
Police is pursuing it now in the right manner, and I'm sure they will get to the bottom of it.
But what were they doing till now? For example, I mean, did they even look, for example, M.R. Venkatesh, at this whole Kochi IPL scandal? Did they try to make a connection between her killing and the Kochi IPL scandal, given that she was talking about making the revelation? I mean, this is an obvious line that the police should have been following, right, Mr. Venkatesh? It should have been following.
See, if it were absolutely, Arnab, let us look at it this way. If it were not Shashi Tharoor, he would have been called for questioning on 19th of January 2014. Not on 19th of January 2015. So 1 year has elapsed, crucial evidences have been lost, crucial time has been lost, and let us not for heaven's sake say that law is equal, law works for everybody on the same manner. Please understand, I'm sure I have Sanjay besides me, he will definitely tell you, forget any motive. At least the barest questioning of Shashi Tharoor should have happened, because this was a death which happened within 7 years of a marriage. So the husband was bound to be inquired. I'm not even suggesting that he was a suspect, he was on to something mischievous. All I'm saying is, if it were for somebody else, by this time this person would have been interrogated by the police. Second, there were several clues, several unanswered questions, several red herrings, and you don't require the media or Mr. Swamy, or for that matter anybody else, to take the police by the hand and take the investigation and lead the investigation. It is the police's job. And whatever said and done, in my personal view, the police has not done a professional job at all. It is a thoroughly incompetent set of people out there. Either they are doing, they did nothing in the first year at someone's bidding, or they are doing something today at someone's bidding. Either way, they are damned or they are doomed.
Why? I don't understand why. Sanjay Hegde, did she, for example, did the Delhi police know if she left the hotel? If she left the hotel, where did she go? Who did she try to meet? Was she trying to meet somebody the night before her death? Was she out for some time? Why were these dots not being connected? Sanjay Pinto, coming to you. Yes, Mr. Hegde.
You see, there's an old saying that there's none who is so blind as he who will not see. At that point of time, what did they want to see? They saw a minister's wife had died. The minister wanted her body out,
possibly killed,
out of AIMS, and they probably didn't look closely enough. There was a post-mortem done. The viscera was preserved. After the viscera was then sent for further examination, and by the time that the board woke up and gave a report only in December, that's when the Delhi police seems to have looked. there seems to have been no prevailing sense of urgency. There seems to have been no real suspicion. What was done was compliance with the law. What was done was
the bare minimum
as required, but no real probing questions seem to be asked at that stage. Now, of course, all that is coming to haunt them because there is a report by the medical board which says that the death was due to poisoning. How was the poison administered? What was the poison? All those questions are up for grabs. So now everything which happened in that hotel is now the subject matter of an investigation, and everything has to be painstakingly checked.
Is there video footage?
Most of it will be ruled
for
out
example,
and
if there is video footage from the Swami angle of Sunanda leaving the Leela hotel. Now, we didn't know about this. We've been reporting on this, all our reporters, everyone's been trying. That was a public affair for 3 days. Mr. Hegde, all journalists from all channels, everyone was trying to get an interview with Sunanda Pushkar. Everyone was trying to talk to her. But none of us knew.
What happened to the CCTV footage?
Yes, Sanjay. Yes, Mr. Pinto. Go ahead, Sanjay.
Arnab, she was staying. Yes, Arnab, thank you. You know, she was staying in a 5-star hotel. The lobby of the hotel, in fact, even the corridors of any 5-star hotel would be covered by CCTVs.
Yeah.
What happened to the CCTV footage? Why don't we know? Why don't we have a comprehensive list of the movements of those who entered her room, or if she indeed left her room? And there's something very uncanny about this in terms of, you know, it reminds me of the Bob Woolmer case in Jamaica in 2007. We still don't know what happened to Bob Woolmer. I would rather have the police investigate this thoroughly than jump the gun. Yes, to a large extent, Arnab, there has been a delay. Usually a charge sheet would be filed in 90 days, 3 months, but it's more than a year now. They have still not concluded whether it was suicide or homicide or murder. Again, about this issue of lupus, I did some research on lupus. I spoke to a couple of doctor friends of mine, and we are told that lupus is called the great imitator. And in fact, it can mimic other symptoms. Even in samples, medical samples, it may not really show up in all samples. So lupus itself is a very ambiguous element to this. But I feel that first we need to not jump the gun, wait for the police to file a charge sheet. And then really, because, I mean, frankly, I gave up kite flying when I was a little boy, so I will stick to whatever evidence that there is right now, instead of really jumping the gun and get into a media trial, because there has to be a distinction between a media trial and media coverage to keep the pressure on the investigation.
Arnav, you know, this whole media trial business is actually quite strange, Sanjay. You've been a journalist yourself. The problem happens that when the media follows specific
media trial and media coverage.
You see, if we ask what do you feel kind of questions, which are stupid questions, then it's all right. Then the media is doing a good job. If you ask specific questions, such as, for example, Nina, I'm coming to you.
But
if you ask a question such as, until the filing of the autopsy report, Sanjay, in September 2014,
or expect the police to give a daily service report to the media. Yes, you are doing the right thing by asking the relevant questions, pointed questions. But we have to stop short of actually putting pressure on the investigators and let it take its course.
No, but
that's my point.
You see, this is only coverage of the event, because fact
I
is
agree
today.
with Sanjay, because the FIR was registered.
Rohit,
we must remember.
Rohit, the FIR has been registered, and you know what has happened. The FIR has been registered, Rohit Kochar, 1 year after the crime. The FIR has been registered. A case of murder has been filed against an unknown person. What does that tell you? That there has been laxity, right? Is it a crime, Mr. Kochar, to question laxity? No. Is it a crime to question laxity? And counter question would be, while there was laxity, did anyone question?
You can't jump to the conclusion that there has been laxity in this case. The police, and I'm not holding the brief for
so in the Priyadarshini Mattu case, or in the Jessica Lal murder case, was the media wrong then as well?
Medical report from AIIMS, which, as you know, arrived only on the 29th of December 2014. And the FIR was registered soon thereafter on January 6, 2015. Now, what all of us must remember, which I think has never been pointed out on your show, is the fact that the registration of the FIR marks the commencement of a formal investigation. And we should,
No.
I agree with Sanjay,
Okay,
we should not
so
jump the
Mr.
gun.
Kochar, Mr.
We should allow
Kochar.
the police
No,
to
Mr.
do its
Kochar,
job.
Aman Sinha also
Bassi
drew
is a
this link.
competent man.
No, Mr.
Arnav,
Kochar.
I
Should
have
allow
a
him to
point.
discharge his duty.
No, Mr. Kochar, just a quick counter to you. In the September 27th report that the AIMS medical team submitted, Sunanda was declared as being a, quote, normal and healthy individual whose cause of death could have been poisoning. Regardless of this, and despite this, the Delhi police waits from September 27th to January 6th to file a case of murder. That's an unnatural delay. You can say don't question the delay. You have a right to say don't question the delay. But there has been a delay. Nina, please.
Arnav, I have 3 quick points. One is that if we take the theory that Sunanda did go away from the hotel and come back, then the question that her friend Analysed Singh asked her that night, late that night, that are you going to disclose something about the IPL? And
Yes.
there was silence. I think perhaps leads to Dr. Swami's theory that perhaps she was threatened. 1. 2 is that if she was being treated by HCQ, which is the medication for lupus,
Right.
it leads to very complicated, you have headaches, you have skin problems, you have hallucinatory kind of, if she was being treated for the wrong disease without having it with the wrong medication, or the right medication for lupus, and she was lupus free, then I think that makes point 2. 3 is that if Shashi Tharoor in front of the magistrate said, we had no marital discord, we had a happy marriage, and then now with the police, he says, no, we had discord, I think that is perjury, and it, it needs further investigation.
Nina, may I add on to your third point? That there is, Shashi Tharoor's version has always been that everything, there was some discord, but it was sorted out. Now, all the other evidence which emerges, including those who have spoken, to the domestic help and others, all indicate that there was some serious, marital discord that was going on. So that, of course, that fact does not add up. Let's go very specific now, Mr. Venkatesh, and Sanjay Pinto makes a very important point. Let there be some reporting on the case, but let there not be pressure. My question to you, Mr. Venkatesh, and Sanjay Hegde, you handle so many cases. Until the filing of the autopsy report, the Delhi police had not conducted a forensic analysis on the bed sheet on which Sunanda was found dead. Now, there is such a strong angle of foul play, right? What explains the fact that there was no attempt to examine forensically the sheet on which she was found dead? You have to be
unless
thoroughly...
you do that, you cannot come
So
to
are
a
you saying
conclusion there was a
foul play
foul
on
play
part
or
of the Delhi
not.
police?
So,
No, Mr. Kochar, yes, it's a basic...
I don't believe the Delhi police has any axe to grind in this matter.
No, I am not accusing anyone of having an axe to grind. I am simply saying, why did you not do a forensic analysis of the bed sheet till September 2014?
See,
exactly, unless that is done, Arnab, we cannot come to a conclusion whether there was a foul play or not. So, to that extent, there was a dereliction of
because
duty at the
that was
barest minimum.
the job,
That
was the job of the incompetent medical board of the All India Medical Institute.
No, but you call the medical board incompetent. You call the medical board incompetent. Let me turn it around and ask Sanjay Hegde. If the medical board is incompetent, why would I not ask, did the investigating officer hand over the circumstantial evidence to the medical team at AIMS till September 2014? No, they did not.
no.
So who's incompetent?
The
Sanjay Hegde?
investigating officer never went towards looking at it as a murder investigation. He goes towards looking at it as a
That's
murder
the point.
investigation only after the medical report comes in. Till then, there are some doubts which are being raised, but it is not something to which any investigative resources have been committed. To come back to my first point, they were just not looking for anything.
Arnab, in this
they were not particularly
and Mr. Hegde, Mr. Hegde,
to exert themselves.
so Mr. Hegde, while...
No, Arnab,
Okay, so
this type of...
That's an excellent point. I agree with Sanjay. And the reason for that is that the statements of the immediate family members of Sunanda were recorded soon after her demise, including that of her brother and her son. And every family member of Sunanda Pushkar mentioned that they suspected no foul play.
How can that
Which
be
is
the last
why
word?
The police was not looking and examining the angle of murder at that stage.
No, but 1 second, please. You are saying that the police did not investigate, Mr. Kochar. You are saying the police did not investigate because neither Shashi Tharoor nor the family members or anyone suspected that there was any foul play. Now, okay, maybe they were very trusting of the family. Maybe they have reason to be, but maybe they don't have reason to be. But I think it's a little gullible and, if I may say so, foolish that you say we didn't investigate because none of the family members thought there was any hanky-panky. Sanjay Pinto, you buy that line being put by Rohit Kochar from Delhi? That because the family members felt there was no foul play, there was really no incentive or need to push in this case. Because you're being a journalist, we and the entire media were reporting non-stop for almost a week out there what was going on with this whole Meher Tarar, Sunanda Pushkar, Shashi Tharoor matter. It was a very public affair. The entire media was there reporting. Everyone was trying to get an interview with Sunanda Pushkar. In the middle of that, she dies. So it's a very public affair. If the family believes there's nothing wrong,
the celebrity status of the person involved.
And the injuries,
definitely something very fishy about it.
Should have alerted.
And I'd like to make the point that the police ought not to take
let the
cues
Delhi
from
police
the family members,
the angle
or
of
for that
injury.
matter, even from the media.
I don't
The
think
police
we
has
can
to rely
usurp
on its own investigative acumen
and the duty of
to get on with the investigation.
The Delhi police.
It appears that initially the police was a little sluggish. But as I said earlier, I would rather have them investigate slowly than get it wrong and file a charge sheet that doesn't stand judicial scrutiny and falls by the wayside like many other criminal trials do.
Surely.
Having said that, I want to reiterate the point that I appreciate that Times Now has been repeatedly asking the right questions, pointed questions, but large sections of the electronic media have not been behaving like watchdogs. They've been behaving like bloodhounds.
I think, Sanjay Pinto, this is not a bloodhound watchdog issue. This is simply a question, Mr. Kochar. Mr. Kochar, why hasn't the Delhi police? Now, I don't know if I ask a question, for example, Aman, we are journalists. We are neither, bloodhounds or any other species. The fact is, why hasn't the Delhi police till date investigated the fact that a common local anesthesia, lidocaine, was found on the clothes that Sunanda Pushkar was found dead in? The Delhi police has been so shaky and unclear in this case after filing the case of murder that even Mr. Bassi came out and said it is not clear whether she consumed the poison on her own or was forcibly administered the poison. Why were there 15 injury marks on her body? Why was there an injection mark? Why was there a bite mark?
Still not clear.
Why was the bed sheet not examined? Why were the photographs of the scene of the occurrence?
There was
the photographs,
mark because
Mr. Kochar, the photographs of the scene.
Blood was drawn from her arm on several occasions because she underwent a multitude of tests.
So let there be somebody who tells me that that injury, that injection mark is because of tests, and the injection mark was somewhere near the neck, if I am not mistaken. I don't know for which test you take blood samples from the neck. You usually take it from your arm.
No.
You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know that. And besides the investigating officer, Mr. Kochar, did not provide the AIMS team until September with photographs of the scene of the occurrence.
So one investigating officer, let's assume, for the sake of arguments, was incompetent. We cannot attribute motive either to the Delhi police.
Aman, this is not about attributing motive. This is about the fact that it was not followed. Yes, Aman.
Arnab, let me say this is all a subject matter of investigation. However, media is entitled to raise their questions. There is no any difficulty in that. And let me also say that the reason for delay in lodging FIR was that the police up till May 2014 did not even allow the AIMS medical board to visit the scene of crime, and therefore some very important forensic evidence might have been lost. It may not have been collected properly at the right point in time, and obviously those are questions which one is entitled to raise. However, from the moment the AIMS medical board has come out with a conclusive report that this was a case of death caused due to poisoning, police has acted as it ought to be. It has immediately
lodged an FIR. So why hasn't your party demanded an
independent
probe into the case from day one? Why hasn't the
constituted,
BJP
and they are
demanded an
looking and
independent
investigating at
probe
all
into the
possible
case from
angles
day
to get
one?
to bottom of it.
Why is the BJP appearing to be a little unsure of itself on this whole issue? I don't understand why. The Delhi police has now got its act together since you took claim to Delhi.
No. Where
There
is the
was
question
no
of BJP
outrage.
being unsure?
No outrage
What
from the
Congress party
BJP on the
has
circumstances
responded
around
is
which
that why
Sunanda
they did not
Pushkar
allow
was found
the
dead.
medical
A matter
board
of legal
to visit
Arnav.
the scene of crime.
Why have you been mute about it? What is the problem, Mr.
Arnav.
Raman Sinha? Tell me.
Arnav, I have a simple
Something
point.
holding you back?
Arnav,
Something holding you back, Mr. Sinha? Be open today. Share with
Sorry, I
me
could not
tonight.
gather your
What
question.
is holding you back?
No, please repeat. I cannot.
I'm saying something
I
is
could
holding
not
you
gather
back,
your
Mr.
question.
Sinha.
Can
You're
you
not your
repeat?
usual self. What is the problem?
No. Not at all. No, I'm sorry. This is not a political debate.
No, but you are a
respond
politician.
As a senior advocate, so I do not think there is. No, that is fine. But legal proceedings, investigation is going on, and SIT is looking into all possible angles,
Standard
including
answer.
the angles that you are alluding to. And I'm sure investigation is going on the right track. Let us await the outcome.
You don't
What is
seem
the
very
difficulty?
enthusiastic about this case. You seem to be a little cagey. Please don't take it otherwise here today, because when so many things are happening...
No. It is. You see, all this is subject matter of investigation.
Sure.
Arnav,
Sure.
all this is subject matter of investigation. I'm saying media is entitled to raise all these questions and let all these questions be investigated. And at the same time, I'm pointing out that the police up till May 2014 did not allow the AIIMS medical board to visit the scene of crime, which led to this delay in lodging of FIR. It came in way of collecting crucial evidence at
But who
the right
stopped
point
them?
in time.
Who stopped them? Yeah, Nina Pillai. Nina Pillai asked you
have
who
to
stopped
pose
them.
that
Yeah,
question.
I just feel that the
Because they're in
injury
power at
marks.
that point in time.
I'm saying who stopped them from investigating? Why was it given to the CID and then taken back in one day? I feel that this is a minister's wife who died, in a very public way. And if that murder or that death is not investigated, then which woman who dies in a little village or town anywhere in India, will her murder be investigated? It's a very simple point.
I don't understand what Nina means, died in a public way. I really don't understand that expression, with due respect to her. And the police is indeed investigating
because
the matter.
she was in the press 24 hours. She was in the press 24 hours before her death.
Give Mr. Bassi and his team a break. They're competent people. They will investigate and do their job.
No,
and
are
discharge
we
their
getting in
duty
their way?
the way they should.
Are we getting in the way of the police? What do you mean, give them a break?
Today I must compliment you, Arnab, you're not.
No, I never am. We are only asking certain very specific questions. And by the way, how can you ask Nina Pillai, what do you mean by that she died in a very public way? There was a raging controversy in the national media around Sunanda, Pushkar, Meher, Tharoor and Shashi Tharoor tweets. They are public personalities.
Nobody dies in a public way.
No, they are public personalities. In a public forum, she said, I am going to reveal everything about the IPL scam.
One can say a public personality passed away tragically.
Exactly.
One cannot use the expression died in a public way.
Don't get semantical with me, Mr. Kochhar.
Let's not quibble over words. These are just words. I mean, come on, let's not quibble over words.
The circumstantial
I don't
evidence
think
alone so far.
it's not a
What
problem.
about the criminal intent? For any murder case, need to establish mens rea or criminal intent. What is the criminal intent? Are they any close to finding that? You brought up the IPL angle. What was the criminal intent?
Sanjay,
Whose behest?
Sanjay, the
Whose
most
criminal
obvious
intent? These are
angle, you
questions that
don't
need to be
really
answered.
have to be very, very intelligent to understand that the most obvious angle is, here is a person who's been possibly killed, who kept saying, I'm going to reveal something about the IPL scam. So you have to be utterly foolish or misguided or motivated and not incompetent to say, I will not look at the motive angle there, Sanjay Agre. If there is any motive angle or conspiracy angle to look at Sanjay,
Why
it has to be
not
the
been looked
IPL
into so
angle.
far? Or has it been?
It has to be the IPL
One
angle.
problem with that theory, that it was the IPL angle. Let me just put it out. The problem with the theory is this, that on the 16th, she was threatening to expose. On the 17th, she died. It was not somebody who was in the room immediately, the normal person, that is the husband. The husband was in a public place. The question is, who was it who could send a team of killers within 24 hours of the threatened exposure, get her and kill her in a public hotel? That is asking for a level of competence even among the Supari killers, which is unknown.
Whatever
Within
it is.
one day, all these things don't normally happen.
Excellent point.
I
What
think
does
that
the
there is
CCTV
a
footage
huge
show?
Wholeheartedly
issue
agree.
there.
MR Venkatesh, please. CCTV
no,
footage
no.
should also prove whether she left the hotel.
Arnab.
Because if she left the hotel, where did she
Arnab.
go?
Yes.
Who was tracking her? Did she meet anyone? Did she meet anyone
you can find that out
important?
by tracking her mobile phone.
If she
so-
left the hotel, did she
So,
drive herself?
by
Was
tracking
there
her
a note
mobile
which
phone,
was
can you
supposed to
track her
drive
location?
travel
45
by?
or 307.
Yes, MR Venkatesh.
Yeah, we can track the location. See, we have not done some preliminary investigation. We are not sure whether she died in 307 or 345, whichever room number. We are so dense about the whole facts that at this point in time, 1 year and some days later, we do not know which room number she died, whether she went out on that night or not. And as Hegde says, I don't believe that you can definitely get a team of assassins assembled in Delhi for assassinating somebody.
Overnight.
That may be your experience, Sanjay. You may not get it in 24 hours. But yes, this was an IPL. The stakes were too high, and definitely you could have flown in even from outside 3-4 hours distance to get somebody assassinated in Delhi, because there is also one tweet of Dr. Swami which says that 4 foreigners stayed in that hotel with fake passports. Now, this is another clue that nobody has investigated. So, all these things, if you put at it, and if you look at it, here was, I think on January 13th or 14th of 2014, the hospital in Trivandrum has given a clean sheet on her health. And here she has died suddenly. A death of this nature, a sudden death of this nature by itself, whatever be the statement made by the immediate family members.
That's
The key point is
same
this.
hospital.
The key point is this, Rohit. The key point is this, that if you say today all this was not done because the family didn't feel there was anything, that is unacceptable. You can't say the police did nothing because the family did something wrong. Didn't feel there was anything wrong.
To the police.
If going by that logic, every time that there is something which goes wrong within a family or within a society or within a community, you will go and have some kind of a referendum among the people around. Do you feel there's something, do you think something went wrong? And if you feel, then we'll begin the investigation. That's not acceptable. We are following this story closely. Many of the questions we ask are also the questions the police are asking. Mr. Bassi, all eyes are on you. Thank you very much for joining me on this chat on the Newshour tonight.